we're showing one of the episodes of his long-running series, Clegg's People. This programme, which was filmed in 1987, features one of Michael's favourite places in the region.
In Warwickshire, there's a blue-winged teal at Brandon Marsh Commentary. In Tyne and Wear, a greenish warbler briefly at Whitburn. In Hampshire, still a bared sandpiper at Farlington Marshes. In South Yorkshire, a spoonbill at Dennerby Ings. In Humberside, a lesser grey shrike still at Rudston. In Lancashire...
I don't know how you spend your weekends, but this weekend I'm starting off at Broomhill near Barnsley. But after that, anything could happen. I'm here to join 3 birders. 3 of the Wathings lot, and they're fairly legendary when it comes to twitching. John's on the phone now. He's ringing birdline. We could end up anywhere between Fair Isle and the Scillies, and that's a lot of country. Well, good news.
Well, there's quite a bit of stuff on the south coast.
South coast?
But we're not going to get there tonight, are we?
Oh, I don't know.
Not before dark, should I say?
Yeah. Sounds good, though. A good mixture.
That's right.
Well,
there's an Isabel shark in Somerset, but it's sort of disappeared. Bolted warbler on Fair Isle, but I don't suppose we're going to make that journey, are we, to notice?
So, one of them last week.
We've all seen one recently.
Best bit to have a look what's on Broomhill, isn't it?
Aye.
Yeah.
Start with the Gargany and then spoonbill at Dennerby.
It's not going to be a bad weekend's list that starts off with a Gargany and hopefully a spoonbill, is it?
This is not the sort of vehicle they normally use. This one's hired for my comfort. I might end up sleeping in it yet, but that depends on where Birdline sends us. Birdline's the national telephone grapevine that puts out news about rare birds and updates the gen every few hours. But these 3 know exactly what's about on their own patch. To them, birding's more than a hobby, it's more a way of life. Graham Speight and Mick Turton are joiners by trade. John Hewitt's an electrician, but works for making enough to go birding, and birding is their life. All birdwatchers like lists. The year list is a biggie. Over 300 species in Britain in a year marks out a top-class, highly mobile ace. But local lists are important, and a new area tick, an addition to the birders' local list, stands high for most birders. Species ticks on their lifetime British lists are getting hard to come by at the level these chaps work on. But I've still got a lot to come, hopefully this weekend.
It's cleared in nicely. Good line of Pinooks.
Where's the funny one?
You see the wooden stick that's stuck up at an angle? It's almost in line with that.
Yeah, wow, that is a weird one. It looks to be a marvellous shape of the head, just like Ferruginous.
Yeah, we think it's a hybrid Ferruginous pochard.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that's wrong for Ferruginous duck is the amount of black on the tip of the bill.
Oh, where's the Gargany then? Is that still about?
It looks as though that's it. You know, this party of mallard down here.
Well, that's good, because there's not many of them about these days, is there?
No, and what fuel there's been, they should have mainly left the country now.
Yeah, it's getting
a
late date to see a Gargany.
That took half an hour, and now it's on to Dennerby Ings, another local Yorkshire Wildlife Trust reserve. These lads don't waste time, and they don't miss birds either. Everything's noted down. The hybrid Ferruginous pochard wasn't a tick, but very interesting technically. Twitching's the pursuit of rare birds, but they're more than twitchers, they're ornithologists as well.
Oh, well, no trouble with that one.
colour rings and all.
Yeah, really gaudy, isn't it? Well, 6:30, 2 good uns under the belt.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Yeah.
Might not last though.
Oh, I don't know, it might improve even. Might it be hard to improve on that? That's a beauty, that's good though. You've just had a trip to Shetland, haven't you?
Well, unfortunately we went up last week and there's a great knot up there, a new bird for Brick. It turned up Friday, well about 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, and it was seen up to dark, so couldn't resist that one. So we drove up to Aberdeen and flew across the next day. By the time I got there it was about 11 o'clock.
11 in the morning?
11 in the morning. No sign of the bird. There were people who lived there already looking, and we spent the rest of the weekend looking and no luck, unfortunately.
Oh dear, yeah. That was a dip out on a big scale then.
That was quite an expensive dip, that one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a couple of little egrets. Is it Kiev? That's a Kiev. It's fairly close, I think.
What time is it now? Coming up to 9 o'clock.
South
Start heading somewhere, I reckon.
Hampshire?
Yeah,
Hampshire?
favourite.
Right then. Southward bound, eh? Yeah.
On through the night, with some working harder than others. But they're used to working as a team, and they share the driving. After all, they do this every weekend. As a gesture to my grey hairs, I hope they remember to stop somewhere on the road to London for bed and breakfast. This weekend's going to be long enough without starting off shattered.
It's 7:30 and we've bedded and breakfasted, and now we're bowling along the M25 at Heathrow.
Heathrow's home ground to these lads. They travel the world. Mick passed through here recently on his way back from Israel, where he'd just added another species to his world owl list.
Your owl list must be pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it's probably mid-20s, nearly 30, I think. That's
one
worldwide.
They're one of the hardest groups to get, aren't they, really, though?
Yeah, you feel you've achieved something when you see some good owls, especially if you can find them in daylight.
Yeah. Have you had any really top-class ones in Britain, then?
Scots owl we saw in Hampshire.
Aye. Where was that?
A few years ago. It's Sarah Ferguson's back garden, actually.
Good Lord. Before the royal wedding, eh?
Yeah, before that,
yeah.
so. And,
How did you manage to see it? Because they're very nocturnal, aren't they?
It started, we went down sort of after work and heard it calling about 10 o'clock in the evening, then it shut up while about 4 in the morning. And we managed to find it in torchlight and had quite good views of it. And
First the headlines. In Somerset, an Isabeline shrike and Minehead golf course. In Gwynedd, a Wilson's phalarope on the Conway estuary. In Warwickshire, a blue-winged teal at Brandon Marsh Commentary. In Tyne and Wear, a greenish warbler briefly at Whitburn. In Hampshire, still a bared sandpiper. And Farlington Marshes, also a grey phalarope and 2 little egrets at Keyhaven. In Humberside, a lesser grey shrike again at Rudston. In North Yorkshire, a red-breasted flycatcher at Filey. In Lancashire, a spotted crake at Martin Mere. In South Yorkshire, a spoonbill at Elusive. On the Isles of Scilly, a red-eyed vireo, a rose-coloured...
That last phone call didn't change anything. It's still Farlington Marshes, sandwiched between a motorway and the Solent near Portsmouth. Birding doesn't always take you to pretty rural spots, and this one's a bit of a hellhole of fleeing traffic and deafening noise. Still, the birds don't seem to mind, and it does have a reputation for rare birds. A huge area with a heck of a lot of mud exposed at low tide. And we're looking for Baird's sandpiper, a 6-inch American wader. It's no joke. But never mind, we're keen to get on with it. Out on the seawall, searching behind every yacht and up every gully. Looking behind the patches of plants and hoping that it might just be tucked in somewhere with a flock of common birds.
The assembled birders hadn't seen it either, and that was a bad sign, because some of them had been there since dawn. They say it's not been seen since yesterday. Still, we gave it a good try for 2 hours before admitting defeat, a dip out in the jargon. I must say, it's always the same when you miss a good bird. The feeling of disappointment's quite amazing. It wasn't even as though we hadn't seen Baird's sandpiper before. We all had. But that was it, the first bird of the day, and we dipped on it. Graham's attitude, I think, said it all. He's a real wader specialist, spent 2 years studying them in the Far East, and a lot of time in China.
How long were you in China?
On 2 visits, I've spent 4 months there.
That's a fair span of time. What's it like for birding?
The problem is finding somewhere to bird. As most of the stuff's been destroyed and you've vast distances to cover to get to good habitat. But once you get there, it's very good.
Is it? But
Yeah.
patchy sort of thing?
Yeah.
But they're keen on birders going there now, aren't they?
They seem to be. They're keen on tourism, definitely. And once you get there, you know, they're quite friendly.
Are they?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Food all right?
I didn't think so. It's not like your Chinese takeaway at all.
Earlier